Hello students, today we are going to see this topic which is known as list and tuples. Okay, so we'll see what is list. So to implement the concrete level of data abstraction, uh, programming languages like Python provides a structure, okay, compound structure which is known as pairs. Okay, so this pair is an important 2 mark question, so they'll be asking you what is meant by pair. So programming languages like Python provides a compound structure to implement concrete data type. uh, so that is known as that structure, the compound structure is known as pairs. Okay, so the example for pairs is two things. Okay, so that is list and tuples. Okay, so list is a construct. Okay, so we'll see first what is a list. So a list is a construct. List is constructed by placing expression within square brackets separated by commas. Okay, so any expression or any value that is given inside the square brackets separated by commas. So more than one values can be given, or more than one expression can be given inside this square brackets. So that square bracket, the content which is given inside the square brackets separated by commas is known as list. So here they have given one example. So example for list is 10 comma 20, which is given inside this square brackets. Here they have given another one example. So here a list is equal to 10 comma 20, and xy is at xy is equal to list. Okay, so x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20. So indirectly it becomes value of x comma y. So here this they are adding some index value here. So 10, to refer 10, you can give the value as give the address as list 0. Okay, list is lst of 0 is 10 and lst of 1 is 20. So in the above example mentioned above, mathematically you can represent as like this. So LST 0 comma 10 is one value, and 1 comma 20 is another value. So here 0 is index position. So to identify the value, uh, you can refer it with the index position, which is 0. You can identify the value 20 with its index position as 1. So if you want the 1 value, then you will be having a list of 1 to receive the value as 20. So any way of bounding two values together into one by considering uh, can be considered as pairs. Okay, so list are common methods to do so. So therefore, list can be called as pairs. So any compound numbers, okay, so many values are combined together to form a group of values or expression with the same name is known as pairs. Okay, so in other words, list is a pair. So how can you represent a rational number using a list? Okay, rational number means you have two things here, numerator and denominator. So the same methods you can use this. Rational is a function that contains n as numerator and d as denominator. So you can see that they are returning the n comma d. Okay, so next you can see that they are creating another list here. So numer x returns x of 0, denominator of x is x of 1. Okay, so this x of 0 is the first value and the x of 1 is the second value. So next move on to the next one, tuple. So tuple is the same as list, but here you can see that it is surrounded by parentheses. Okay, so rounded brackets. Okay, so here in the before list you have seen that which is square brackets. So here you can see that this is rounded brackets. So here you can see that this is the example for tuple. So color is a tuple name, and which is given inside this parenthesis, which is rounded brackets. So the same concept goes to this representation of this tuple. Everything the same, okay, but the only difference is they'll be using square brackets in the list, and you can use this rounded brackets at the uh, tuple. Okay, next is data abstraction in structure. Okay, so structure is a different type of complex representation. So where you can see that you can use both uh, you can see that here this is the example here. So here structure can have multiple values in it. Okay, so here the person is the variable name, which has multiple values, like first name, which is related to the person, and last name, which is related to the person, and the id of the person, and the email of the person is the values. And also it has functions. Okay, which function means a set of action which has to be done by the person. Okay, so this is known as structure. So here you can see that they have given an example. Person is equal to uh, Padmasri, Bhaskar, and the phone number and their email ID. Okay, so uh, this is a set of values that are stored inside one particular uh, structure. So here another one important thing here. So the class structure the class constructs defines the form of multiple part objects that represents a person. It its definition adds a new data type. In this case, a type named person. Okay, so this is a person which is created a class as a class which has some variables, which is a name, first name, last name, id, and the email id. So the person is referred as a class or a type, where p1 is refers to an object or an instant. Okay, so uh, person is a class, is a default value. Okay, which uh, uh, which every person should know. Okay, so a person will have definitely have a first name and the last name, and he'll be having a definite phone number and email id. Okay, so p1 may be Bhaskar, uh, p2 may be Arun, p3 may be Raj. Okay, so p1, p2, p3 are uh, a person which has different first name, different last name, different phone number, or different email id. So here comes the main part. So class is the common item or common things that every object has, but object is a unique value of the common attributes. Okay, so this is the thing that is given here, and you can read it. Okay, so therefore we can define a class uh, bounded. So you can define a class by bounding this kind of values. Okay, values together to form a particular structure. Therefore we can define a class as uh, bundled data. Okay, a class is a bundled data and a function that works on the data. So a class is a group of data which is created as a cluster or created as a bundle of data, and some functions or some task, so that is carried out on this data to provide a new data. Okay, so that is a class here. So with this we are finishing this chapter. abstract data type. We'll see the rest of the things in the next class. So thank you, students.